children struggle with is confidence. Of course, confidence, resilience, things that just all seem too much. And we want to give children hope, and we want to give them a sense that sometimes perseverance and trying will result in what they need. So I'm going to put this into a metaphor, into a story. It might be something like this. There was a young boy who lived with his father. He didn't like school very much, and he didn't really have any friends. When he tried to talk to his friends, they would laugh at him, and they would call him weird, because he liked to imagine things that other people didn't imagine. And when he would talk about these things to his friends, they would say, "You're so weird." But he kind of knew that these things were possible somehow. And he loved horses, this boy. And he had a dream, a wish, a hope that there would be such a thing as a flying horse. And when he went to sleep, he would dream about a flying horse. And he would dream about the possibility of riding a flying horse, of climbing on its back and flying through the sky, looking down on the earth, all those people that laughed at him and called him weird. One night, he said to his father, "Father, I have to know, is there such a thing as a flying horse?" His father said, "I'm not sure, son. If anybody would know, it would be the old woman who lives in the forest. She is very wise. If anyone knows, it will be her." "How do I find her?" said his son. "Well, it's a bit of a walk. I suggest you pack up your backpack, take some food and drinks with you, put on some good walking shoes, and you just head west. If you keep going, you'll come to her. Once you get into the forest, you'll come to her." So the boy, feeling a bit anxious and a bit nervous about this, packed his backpack, put on his walking shoes, left his father's house and started to walk towards the forest, headed towards the west. And he walked until he left the houses and the town behind, and he entered the forest. And then he started to walk deeper into the forest. This was an unfamiliar place for him. He'd never been here before. Many, many trees, many, many paths. He was never sure if he was going the right way, but he just kept heading west like his father had told him, one foot in front of the other. Sometimes things would frighten him. He would stand on a stick, or a bird would make a noise, and he would almost jump out of his skin. Keep going, he thought to himself, keep going. If I want to find out about this flying horse, I need to keep going. And so he walked and he walked until he came to a little hut. And sure enough, there was an old woman sitting outside the hut on her chair. And when she saw him, her face lit up. She said, come my boy, what brings you here today?" He said, "Oh, I feel a bit stupid saying it now." She said, say what is on your mind. Just tell me. I won't judge you." "Well, I keep having these dreams about a flying horse. And when I talk about it to my friends, they just laugh at me and tell me I'm weird. But my dad said if anybody would know, it would be you. Is there such a thing?" He said. "That's interesting. I believe there is such a thing. But I believe it is very difficult to find this flying horse. Nobody has done it before. It will be a difficult journey ahead. There will be many trials and things you have to work out for yourself. It will be difficult. Think about it. Stay here the night with me. If in the morning you are still determined, I will help you. I will show you the way." So the boy stayed that night and he slept and he thought about it. And of course that night his dreams were filled with flying horses and him flying on the horses, looking down at the world below. And he felt so happy when he was on the back of a flying horse. He couldn't imagine anything that would come close to it. So when he woke up in the morning and he saw the old woman, she made him some breakfast. And he said to her, I think I want to do it. I want to try and find the flying horse." "Okay," she said, "I will give you some things to help you." And she pulled a long silver hair from her head and she gave it to him. put it around his neck. "This may help you," she said. "Keep it there and keep it safe." "Thank you," he said. Why would I want a silver hair from her head? I have no idea. She then gave him a flute, a little magical flute. And she said, this may also help you, but I don't know how to play it. He said, "You will when the time comes," she said. So he put the magical flute into his rucksack. And she gave him a small silver knife, quite sharp. "You may need this," she said. "I don't know how to use a knife," he said. "You will when the time comes." And he put the knife also into his rucksack. She told him where to go. She said, "The way is long. You have walked a long way. You have further to go. Keep walking. You will come to a very, very steep mountain. It's very hard to climb. When you come to the steep mountain, at the top of that mountain, there is a cave. But the cave will be guarded by a fierce, spitting, hissing creature that will frighten you. You must subdue this creature to get to the cave. And inside the cave, I believe there lives a winged horse. But this horse is very shy and will not come out for anybody. You must be very patient and have great perseverance if you are to see the winged horse." The boy took all of this in. He said, "I don't know if I can do it." She said, "My son, use your head, your heart, and your hands. You will find a way." So the boy started off, feeling quite worried about what was ahead of him. She told him the way to the mountain, and he walked through the forest until he came to the sides of the mountain, and then he saw it. It was huge. The mountain was so steep, he couldn't imagine any way to climb this sheer rock that went up, up, up. And he was about to turn back. "I can't do it," he thought to himself. And then he remembered what she said to him. "Use your head, your heart, and your hands, and you will find a way." My head, my heart, and my hands. And as he looked around him, he saw there were some vines coming from the trees. And he thought to himself, if I use my knife to cut the vines, maybe I could weave a rope. So that's what he started to do. He cut the vines and he wove them around. It took a long time. His fingers were sore from doing it. He created a long vine and he went to the mountain. Just above his head there was a tree growing out of the side of the mountain. He took the vine and he threw it and he looped it around the nearest tree. And with that he pulled himself up the first little bit of the mountain. There was a little ledge there. So he rested and he looked again. There was another tree a little bit further up. Again he took the vine and he threw it and he looped it around the next tree. And he pulled himself up slowly, one step at a time. When he got to that tree, there was another tree and another and another, all the way to the top of the mountain. It took him a whole day to get there. When he got to the top of the mountain, the light was already fading. But he heard a noise, a terrifying noise, hissing and spitting and roaring. And then he saw this creature. It was like a dragon or a serpent or some kind of terrifying creature. It was vicious and it was fierce. And every time he tried to move, it would look to see where the noise was coming from. The boy found a bush to sit behind and thought, this is too frightening. This is too frightening. I can't do this. I don't have the courage. And then he remembered what the old woman had said. Use your head, your hand, and your heart. Well, I've used my hands. He took out the flute, the little flute that was in the rucksack. He didn't know how to play the flute, but he loved music. He put the flute to his mouth and he started to play with all his heart the music that he could. Soft tunes, slow tunes, fast tunes. And he noticed that when he played the slow tunes, the vicious, spitting, hissing creature started to calm down a bit. So he played some more, and some more, and some more. He played until his lips were sore and his fingers were sore and he was out of breath. But he noticed that as he played, the creature started to lie down and relax and rest its great snarling head on its paws. No more hissing and spitting. The creature fell asleep to the sound of the flute. When it was soundly asleep, and the boy was sure, he crept past the creature and entered the mouth of the cave. It was very dark. He couldn't see anything. He didn't know if there was a winged horse in there or not. But when he looked down around his neck, there was a silver thread hanging around his neck that shone in the darkness. He took the silver thread from around his neck and held it out, and it was long enough for a bridle, maybe for a horse's bridle. And he thought, okay, what did the old woman say? Use my head, my hands, and my heart. I have used my hands. I have played music from my heart. Now I need to think of a plan. And he thought, and he sat down at the entrance to the cave, and he started to call the horse. Horse, horse, I am here, I am your friend. Here, come, I have something to show you. Something silver and bright. Horse, horse. And to start with, the horse didn't come. But he persevered, and he said it over and over again. Horse, horse, I'm your friend. Horse, I have something to show you. And after some time of saying this again and again and again, it came out of the darkness a beautiful, white, winged horse. And the boy held up the silver thread in front of the horse, and the horse was interested, and the horse raised its nose and sniffed it. And the horse seemed to trust the boy, and the poor horse bowed down his head in front of the boy, and the boy looped the silver hair over the head of the horse and used it as a bridle. He then stroked the horse, speaking to him softly all the time, saying soft, comforting words. Good horse, good, brave horse. Then before long, the horse allowed him to climb onto its back, and he climbed onto the back of the horse. And the horse left the cave as the boy held on to the silver-haired bridle. And as they came out of the entrance of the cave, the dragon was still sleeping. The horse started to trot, and then canter, and then gallop, and then before he knew it, whoosh, up in the sky, wings, huge and beautiful, spreading out either side of the horse, and the boy holding onto his mane as they flew across the sky. The boy looked down and saw all the houses, he saw his school, he saw everything down below, the old woman's house, and he flew, and he had never felt so free and so happy in all of his life. This was magical. It's what he had dreamed about. While he flew on the back of the horse for the remainder of the evening, all through the night until the sun was starting to rise, the dawn was coming. And as the dawn was coming, the horse started to come down, 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 close to the earth, closer, closer before anyone was awake. And the horse came down to the ground just outside the boy's house. The boy climbed down from the horse and took his silver hair bridle. And he said, horse, will you come again? Can I fly on you again? And the horse nodded. The boy went back into the house and got back into bed. He was exhausted. He hadn't slept for days. Got into his bed. He put the silver hair on the pillow next to him and fell into a deep, deep sleep, dreaming of winged horses, of course. Well, in the morning, his father came to wake him up for school. Dad, come on, time to get up. He woke up. Dad, I've had the most incredible dream. It was so real. And as he looked on his pillow, there was one long, silver, glittering hair.